Exciting. Ooh, beautiful. What is this? Well, this is The Last Friendship. What is The Last Friendship, you ask, as your follow-up question? The Last Friendship is a game that I was a part of with a few friends. We made it back in 2012 for a 48-hour game jam called Molyjam. It was me doing the sound and the music, Jason Connell doing a lot of the environment artwork and some of the design and scripting, Eva Kurzaminski. Eva, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. I'm pretty sure I did. Eva, amazingly talented artist who did a lot of the 3D sculpting and animation. And Indy Ray, who's an incredible programmer, doing a lot of the behind the curtain magic, keeping this whole thing together with spit and duct tape and bubble gum and, help from the gods to keep it running. So yeah, like I said, we made this for a 48-hour game jam called Molyjam, and if anybody that's watching this was, following game development Twitter back in the early 2010s, you probably remember a parody account called Peter Molydew, D-E-U-X, like the French word for two, which was parodying a real man, a man named Peter Molyneux, who is a game designer, probably most famous for the Fable series of games, but also famous for over-promising and under-delivering on the scope and features of the games that he's made. Peter, love your games, but, that's kind of the reputation that he has. And I think he has a good sense of humor about it. I hope so. So, this parody account, Peter Molydew, used to tweet these big, lofty game design ideas that were hilarious and absurd in how grand they were and deeply philosophical. And it started to kind of get really popular, became a meme. And then somebody had a great idea, which was, hey, what if this wasn't a joke and we took these ideas and actually tried to make games out of them? Wouldn't that be fun? So somebody, set up a weekend where this was like a global event. You had to pick one of the tweets from the Twitter account and use it to design a game around. So the four of us thought this would be fun. Jason and I were living together at the time, and Eva and Indy came over, spent the next 2 days working on this. The tweet that we chose was, "You are a scarecrow in a world with only one bird," which still makes me laugh. I think that's a hilarious idea. You might think of a kind of post-apocalyptic scenario, might conjure that up because there's one bird, and why does this world only have one bird, and where'd the rest of them go? But we wanted to do something a little lighter, a little more heartwarming and endearing. The idea is, if you are a scarecrow and your purpose in this world is to scare crows, but there's only one crow left, you don't want to alienate that crow. Your lives and your existence is intertwined. So rather than kind of sever the last tie that you have with any sort of creature in this world, you should befriend it, right? You're in this situation together. So that's kind of the heart of the game. What is the game mechanic itself? If you haven't been able to pick it up by watching, which I don't blame you, let me try to explain it. So there are these trees on screen. There should only be 3. There's 5. Those 2 that are all the way to the left of the screen definitely should not be there, and I would remove those if we were to make this game now. There are 3 important trees on screen, and you can see that kind of at random intervals they will release, cherry blossom petals. The wind will pick up and blow these petals around, and the order that it happens in and the length of time that it happens is completely randomized. And then there's also a crow that is flying around the world. He or she or it, there he goes, or it goes, will land on one of those 3 trees completely at random in a completely random order. So there's these 2 random systems happening at the same time, and it's up to you to figure out where the game mechanic lies as a result of this. So when you load the game up, there's one instruction there below the left tree. It says press spacebar. So let's do that. Okay, so you press the spacebar and you saw that rice, your scarecrow drops some rice. I don't know where he gets it from, but it kind of magically appears out of his hand. Let's do that again. Okay, and so that time you can hear a sad sound. That sound should probably play all the time when you hit the space bar, but it doesn't. Right? So like I can just spam this and not hear anything. But that little sound gives you a clue that, oh, this rice thing is important. So you only hear the sound when the bird is on a tree, like it's on that tree to the right now, and I hear the sad sound. How do I get that to be happy? Let's wait for him to land on a tree again, all the way in the distance where you can't possibly see it on your screen. Okay, so he's on that far tree, and I hear the sad sound. But let's see if it happens. Nope, he just he just took off again. Okay, now he's flying to the tree to the right, and there's petals coming off of it. Now watch this. The happy sound. So you drop those rice or seed, whatever it is, and it flies to the crow, and you know, you're on your way to befriending him. So okay, so I did that once, but I still get the sad sound when there's no petals. So that's got to be it, right? When he's on a tree and the petals are blowing, that's when you have to release the seeds, and they'll fly magically to your new friend. So let's try it again. Okay, he's on the far tree now, and the petals are there. Okay. That's some positive reinforcement. Let's wait for the rice to get all the way to that far tree. And, you know, let's do it again. Let's see what happens if I do it a third time. So he's still on that far tree, but there's no petals coming off of it. Oh, now he's magically on the left tree. The game is a little buggy, mostly functional, but I will say that here in 2020, it runs way better than it did in 2012. It's very smooth, whereas it was incredibly choppy back then. Okay, he's on the back tree. All right, a third time. So what happens after that third time? Let's see. Oh! Look at that. You have a new friend. The last friendship. So it's a little obtuse, you know, kind of how the game works. But I think whoever played it, I don't think very many people played it, but hopefully they could figure that out. I do think there's something interesting there behind that concept that could use some refinement, but you know, for something that we made in 2 days, I think it's pretty good. It certainly looks beautiful, and a lot of that is really Jason. One thing to note that I think is really interesting about this is the idea behind the wind blowing and the cherry blossom petals was, I think it was Jason's idea. It's really difficult to kind of pinpoint who came up with what idea. You know, one, because it was a long time ago, and two, because it's a game jam, so you're just throwing ideas out, and hopefully the best ones, you know, kind of win out. But ideas are flying fast and furious. I'm pretty sure that the wind and petal thing was Jason's idea, and I say that because Jason currently is the he's an associate creative director at Sucker Punch Games in Seattle, and they just released a game this past summer called Ghost of Tsushima. And one of the major mechanics in that game is how you figure out where you need to get around in the world. And instead of having a little mini map in the corner, you kind of swipe a button on the controller, and the wind will pick up, and it will blow leaves and debris and flowers and stuff in the direction that you need to go for your next quest. And that was 100% Jason's idea for the game, I know, because we've talked about it. And I said, dude, you know that the seed of that was planted with the last friendship, and I don't think even he made that connection. But I hope that this, you know, kind of becomes his signature thing. We'll see what happens on his next game. Anyway, I thought that was kind of a fun little fact, and it was fun to kind of revisit this game. I found it on an old hard drive that I was cleaning some stuff out on. Was curious if it still ran. I'm very grateful that it does. I'm recording this for posterity, just in case it ever decides to not run someday. I'll post a link to the music along with this video if you want to take a listen to the whole track. I think they're kind of fun. Yeah, that's it. The Last Friendship. Thanks for watching.